sorry, that's for a Democrat show.
Let me know when you're ready. No matter what the technical difficulty is, this man is a professional. He goes all the way.
What you represent to them is freedom.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator. We're tearing it up on Wednesday night. This is awesome. This will allow me to retort.
Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Reaver of Common Sense show. 8 p.m. on shrmedia.com.
Actually, I just totally screwed up. This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to support the show, support SHR Media, just go to Reaver.one, click on the shop button. How is everybody doing today? I don't know. Last night, I think it must have been a huge embarrassment for Rachel Maddow. So she sends out this tweet. Says she has Trump's 2005 tax return. Tune in at 9 o'clock. Tune in. She is going to break the story. You know, I can hear the dun, dun, dun. You think, oh, God. You know, a lot of people were tuning in. Oh, my God. We're going to find out about Trump's tax return. Yeah. She set herself up for this. She saw, this is my moment. I'm going to shine. So, 9 o'clock comes. Her show goes on the air. She starts talking about his tax return. 9:05, talking about his tax return and all this other bullshit. 9:10, still yammering. I think it got to like 9:19, and even the fellow liberals started making comments. It got so bad that the White House chimed in and released his tax return information right there. He jumped. She drug it on so long, the White House came out and broke the story. They have the tax return for 2005, which I'm pretty sure they had to have permission from Trump, because if not, it is highly illegal to be exposing someone's tax returns. But in 2005, and again, wait a minute, again, 20-minute rant, building up, to say in 2005, he made $150 million in income and paid $38 million in income taxes. $38 million in taxes that man paid. That's a big goddamn check to write the government. You know, the liberals have been going on this rant for a while now because they assumed he didn't pay taxes. Again, these rich people, it's not cheating, it's not breaking the law. They're using the tax laws to their advantage. That's what they're there for. But $38 million that man paid. I'm sitting here freaking laughing my ass off. She looks like an idiot. And like I said, she took so long to get to the point that the Trump White House scooped her Best way to say it. And they put out a tweet, I think it was a tweet, and just gave the information. Now, it blew up Twitter. Twitter must love it because they got overused last night. And some of these tweets just, oh my God, I couldn't stop laughing on a couple. Rachel Maddow got trolled so bad by her own people. And the mockery. Well, Greg Gutfeld says Maddow really is the long-lost daughter of Glenn Beck, circa 2010. Maddow is going to show us the tax returns at 9:57, isn't she? This was tweeted out at 9:04. It's 9:08, and we are talking about yachts being parked next to one another. Let's see. Bob Cusack. This is like watching a super hyped prize fight, and the first few rounds are snooze. Greg Gutfeld again in 9:08. I think Maddow's staff lost the tax return. Greg Gutfeld said if Geraldo shows up to open the folder containing the tax return, I will stand and applaud. Okay, for the young people that don't understand, Geraldo Rivera one time did a show, and he was going to open Capone's vault and expose all the treasures, and he opened it up, and it was a big bust. Let's see. Yeah. Still got that damn poison ivy. Oh. And, let's see, what was the next one? At 9:13, Paige Lavender. At this point, I'm low-key rooting for someone to scoop her on this and tweet out the tax return before she shows them. Well, of course, the White House did exactly that. Brad Dayspring. Maddow's burying of the lead has actually become a bigger story than the scoop itself. Peak absurdity. Now, even CNN political reporter stated that Maddow's exclusive as a good story for Trump. Now, you have Fox News, Katie Pavlich. She is speculating that the Trump White House planted the story to make the issue look ridiculous. I've said it before. It would not surprise me if most of the stuff that's going on isn't planted by the White House to make the media just have them foaming at the mouth and making them look like a bunch of idiots. I mean, it's not hard to do. Just you leak out a little story, they jump all over it. Something absurd. They have such a hatred for Trump, they jump all over it. That easy. Maeve Reston. So what we've learned so far from MSNBC is that Donald Trump paid a hefty sum in taxes in 2005. This seems like a good story for Trump. Now, again, it was. I mean, they've been screaming he doesn't pay taxes. He doesn't pay taxes. $38 million is a lot to pay. And what's funny, all this is over a 2005 tax return. Again, someone else stated that, and I quote, "My bet, someone at the White House put this portion of a single tax return in this guy's mailbox as a way to make the issue look ridiculous." Even left-wing actress Mia Farrow mocked Maddow for her ranting, pointing out that it was 9/19 and nothing had been revealed. Bob Lay. If you have news, Rachel, please tell us soon. I'm not young. Brandon Boyle, according to a poll I just took of my congressional district, 100% of my constituents want Rachel Maddox to show us the tax return now. Oliver Darcy, it's almost like Maddow called Ryan Seacrest for tips on teasing this story out. Dana Perino even jumped in on this, which was weird. What is the left's version of black helicopters? Let's see. I'm jumping through a bunch of this one. TJ Quinn. Why won't Rachel Maddox release Donald Trump's tax return? What is she hiding? Don't ask me why. When I first read that, I couldn't stop laughing. I found that extremely comical. I know, I'm simple-minded, ain't I? It just had me cracking up. I don't know why. It's Katie Pavlich again. I know. I'm butcher last names. I've never been good at that. I suck at it. CNN better do a spoof on this. Slate senior editor Sam Adams suggests Maddow's performance could be turned into a 10-episode Netflix series. Eric Strangle. It takes less time to fill out your taxes than for Rachel Maddow to get to what's in Trump's tax returns. Others pointed out that her scoop was very, very disappointing. Without any self-awareness, Rachel Maddox holds up 2 pages and shrugs. This is all we've got. There was some memes put up that were great. And the last one I'll go over. You know you're desperate for ratings when you're willing to violate the law to push a story about 2 pages of tax return from over a decade ago. The White House responded in a statement, adding that it is totally legal to steal and publish tax returns. I think it was Eric Trump. Put out a tweet that thanked Rachel Maddow for this. This is good news for Trump. Damn poison ivy. My next step is, after the show, I'm drawing a bath, putting a shitload of salt and a little bit of bleach in it, and going to get in it. Oh, man, this is driving me up a wall. I hate poison ivy. I haven't had it in decades. Oh. Rachel Maddow, she leapt before she thought. That's what it comes down to. She leapt before thinking. You would think that her staff would have really gone over this before announcing they had Donald Trump's tax returns. Because it's it made them look like a bunch of idiots. I mean, I don't know how else I could say it. It just, they look like a bunch of twits. And just to give a little flashback, we're going to go back in time. I think it was just this past Thursday's broadcast of MSNBC, so we're not going that far back in time. Anchor Chris Matthews stated that President Trump isn't releasing his tax returns because there is a lot in there he doesn't want us to know. Like, how about not paying taxes? Matthews said President Trump won't release his tax returns during his campaign, but political pressure is building for the president to just that. At least turn it over to the Intel committee so they could look at it. We're going to talk about that and a lot more in Hardball. By the way, he's not going to give away his tax returns. We can pound on that door and pound on the door, and he ain't giving them away because there's a lot in there he doesn't want us to know, like how about not paying taxes. Well, $38 million is not paying taxes. I wonder what Chris Matthews thinks is paying taxes. And I'd like to know, does Chris Matthews take any deductions? Or does he pay the full tax bill? All right, the chair of the House Intelligence Committee on this Russia bullshit is speaking.
To ask more about that, Mr. Schiff and I are sending a letter today to Director Comey, Pompeo, and Admiral Rogers asking for the total number of names that were unmasked over the course of the last 6 months. And that letter, I think we'll pass that letter out to all of you so that you will have it. Lastly, the third issue that I have to bring to you today is we are a little uncomfortable with the ODNI and whether or not they're going to let us have the proper computer technology that we need to go through the evidence that exists out at the CIA out at Langley. And we are trying to work through that, but I can tell you that it has become a bit of a stumbling block for our investigators to actually be able to compile and go through the information. So those are the three issues that I have for you today, and I'd like to ask Mr. Schiff if he'd like to say a couple comments.
Thank you, Chairman. I want to join in saying that to date I've seen no evidence that supports the claim that President Trump made that his predecessor had wiretapped he and his associates at Trump Tower. Thus far, we have seen no basis for that whatsoever. We still want the Justice Department to respond to our letter. We've given them until March 20th. We're both willing to use compulsory process if that's necessary, though neither of us, I think, believe that will be necessary. Certainly, at the open hearing that we have on March 20th, we will be asking the director if he has seen any evidence that substantiates the president's claim. It deeply concerns me that the president would make such an accusation without basis. We think it's in the public interest that this be.
How many times did Obama do it and they kept their mouths shut?
Openly by the director, and we certainly expect that he will. It's my understanding that the three witnesses who had conflicts or other issues with the March 20th hearing are all available and I believe committed to the March 28th hearing. So the following week we'll get the remaining testimony from those witnesses and we'll have as much time as necessary at the hearing for our members to ask their questions. Obviously there's a substantial amount they may not be able to answer in open session, but we want to conduct as much of this investigation as we can in the open so the public is informed of the progress that we're making. Our members are going to the agency to review the documents. Our full committee now has access to the Gang of Eight materials that underlie the assessment that the intelligence community put out. I spent a few hours there yesterday and would encourage all the members to spend time out at the agency reviewing those documents. Finally, we I think are continuing to make progress, and the chairman and I are doing everything that we can to keep this investigation bipartisan or nonpartisan, to make sure that we follow the evidence wherever it leads, and that is certainly our hope, and will continue to be our effort to do so. And with that, we're happy to respond to any questions.
Yeah, it's a question about incidental collection. What's the information about the Trump associates gathered through incidental collection, and are you satisfied that this information was used lawfully?
So as it relates to, we know for a fact, because it's out there in public, that incidental collection on General Flynn was picked up. What I remain concerned about is whether or not there is additional incidental collection that we are not aware of, and then if any of that information was put into any types of intelligence reports, and then whether or not additional names were unmasked. So if additional names were unmasked, we're going to have to understand where the proper procedures followed, and then did additional names get leaked to the media, or were people using that information?
Sounds like they wiretapped Flynn and didn't have full authority to do that.
I remain concerned about, and that's why the letter that you see today, we're asking for all of those names by Friday.
Mr. Chairman, is that also your view on the matter?
Well, I think it's certainly an appropriate part of our oversight to make sure that the agencies are following the correct procedures when it comes to unmasking any names of Americans that may be gathered through incidental collection. But I do want to underscore that this is a separate matter from whether the president's allegations.
Oh, yeah, of course. Schiff wants to come out there and talk shit and say it's separate when there's illegal wiretapping going on.
There's no evidence that there was a wiretap.
There's no evidence. They only ran out there and bragged about how they knew what Trump was doing and who he talked to.
Well, I actually said that last week. I think the challenge here is that President Obama wouldn't physically go over and wiretap Trump Tower, so now you have to decide, as I mentioned to you last week, are you going to take the tweets literally? And if you are, then clearly the president was wrong. But if you're not going to take the tweets literally, and if there's a concern that the president has about other people, other surveillance activities, looking at him or his associates, either appropriately or inappropriately, we want to find that out. I think it's all in the interpretation of what you believe.
And is there anything you've seen in the evidence so far that suggests that there were any conversations between people affiliated with the Trump campaign, Russian officials who are not the ambassador to Russia, anyone other tied to the Kremlin had conversations with the Trump campaign? Do you have any evidence of that?
Not that I'm aware of.
I wouldn't answer that question as categorically as my colleague, and we're not privileged to talk about the contents of the investigation, but I think we need to be very precise when we talk about this, and I just don't think we can answer categorically and not in this forum.
Mr. Chairman, the White House has said that they are extremely confident that the president will ultimately be vindicated in this claim. You're obviously pressing DOJ to release any evidence that they may have, but what about the White House? Are you also pressing them and encouraging them to reveal what the president knew, his grounds for making this claim?
Yeah, we're going to continue to follow the facts where they are. We're not going to make any assumptions. But
of course, Schiff already has him guilty, and nothing will change that.
I have been very clear about my concern about, number one, the incidental collection on General Flynn, how that was put into a product, how it was unmasked, how it was leaked to the public. Several crimes have been committed here, and I want to make sure that I don't want to get into. So Mr. Schiff, I don't know if you want to respond to that question also. So.
I would just say that. I do think it's incumbent, if we get to March 20th and we have the testimony, I think we all expect from the director that there was no substance to the accusation that Barack Obama
he already has it
wiretapped
figured out.
Trump Tower, that the president explained himself. I think this you can't level an accusation of that type without either retracting it or explaining just why it was done. And I think that...
How many times did Obama make outright lies and didn't have to explain shit?
From a national security perspective, great concerns if the president is willing to state things like that without any basis, because the country needs to be able to rely on him, particularly if we have a crisis that is an external crisis, as every president does within their term of office. So I think it is a serious matter, and I appreciate the chairman's willingness to have an open hearing on this, and I think the testimony will be very important.
Mr. Chairman,
Let's get a new. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Do you have any reason to believe that the president himself or anyone working for him in the White House would be one of these names that may have been swept up in something that could then have ultimately been leaked, like what happened with Michael Flynn?
Well, I think it's very possible, but like I said, we should know that by Friday.
Do you think the president himself might be one of those people that was swept up in this?
It's possible. Look, I mean, we know, we think we understand how General Flynn was picked up incidental collection, and perhaps there's additional incidental collection or the other intelligence products where there was unmasking that occurred. Look, this is why we're sending a letter. Let's get it all out in the open so that we understand. We don't, like I've said many times, I'm concerned about unmasking of Americans' names, but I think as they relate to, as you'll see in the letter, as they relate to either the Trump campaign and his folks or Hillary Clinton's campaign and her folks, we'd like to know if any names were unmasked, and I think that would help answer these questions.
If I could, let me just, if I can, also respond on that in a couple ways. First, Mr. Spicer has represented that he is not aware of any investigation that was targeting the president, and presumably no court-ordered surveillance of the president. He has also said that he is confident that the president was speaking accurately when he said he was wiretapped by his predecessor. Those two things cannot both be true unless he is suggesting that the FBI was engaged in a rogue operation unsupervised by a court to wiretap Trump Tower. There is absolutely no evidence of that, and no suggestion of any evidence of that. And I think to even...
That he has no problem saying on categorically, but when there's, was there any contact with Russia? No. Oh, we can't say that on category.
And I also,
fudge
in terms
yourself.
of our oversight responsibility, want to make one other point, and that is, while I think it perfectly appropriate that we oversee the FISA process and the unmasking of any names, if any of that is implicated in any way, I have seen no evidence of any illegality in terms of any electronic surveillance pertaining to your question. So I don't want anything to be surmised that we're suggesting otherwise.
Chairman, if you don't get those names by Friday, will you subpoena that information as well?
Well, most likely, yes. If they don't have a good reason for not giving us that. I mean, FISA is a critical tool that our intelligence agencies use. We want to make sure that that it's done lawfully and legally. And part of that is going to be, even if it has to be at the Gang of Eight level, to just Mr. Shipp and myself, that would be fine. But we do need to have a good understanding of how that process worked.
Mr. Chairman, can you say are you driving at here that you think that Trump and the Trump associates were reverse targeted without a proper warrant, but they were tasked to basically look at anything that was incidentally collected, and then that was disseminated? Is that what you're looking for?
I don't want to... Look, let's wait till Friday for them to come out with the information, and then we'll have the open hearing on Monday before we start to speculate. But clearly, I just want to make sure that the FISA processes were properly followed, and that the unmasking of names did not occur improperly.
I just want to add that I certainly have seen no evidence of that.
I love how when it's against Trump, we can't say specifically. When it's the other way around,
yeah, the director, the Office of Director of National Intelligence,
Why do I listen to
which
this?
is overseeing.
All right, we're going to go to a break,
to these,
and we'll be right back after this brief message.
listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cop for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm having a massive brain fart there. Sorry about that. It just... total brain fart. Heard the commercial and just sat there. What do I do now, George? all it seems anymore with these investigations is who can get the gotcha. And that's it. Not what actually is going on. And that's the sad part. That's really sad what's going on nowadays. There's no bipartisan. You use that word and throw it around like a football. But there is no bipartisan. Both are trying to go out there and score political points. Nothing more, nothing less. And that's the sad part. There is no bipartisan anymore. Everybody can scream those words, but doesn't mean it's true anymore. I'm looking over. Schiff's more worried now about talking about wiretap accusations than to talk about anything else. Because the Democrats opened a can of worms. Trump made that comment, and it's now sent. The Democrats have admitted they don't have nothing on any collusion. They know that. So now they got to change it and try to make an issue that he made an accusation against the ex-president. God, how dare he do it? How dare he? He can't do that. You know what? We had an ex-president that ran his mouth about anything and everything that he would, and was able to, and the media was silent. They got to distract because they went too deep down that rabbit hole. I kept warning them. I guess they're not listening because I kept warning them not to go down that rabbit hole. And they went down it. And that's all Schiff wants to talk about. He doesn't want to talk about all the accusations, all the Democrats that are running out there talking about leaked intel reports, leaked wiretaps. And that's why there's no evidence. We sat there and we saw this go on. We saw how they screamed they have all this evidence. But now, all of a sudden, all the evidence has disappeared. Kind of funny. Very ironical that all the evidence and all this, we have proof, and it's all gone. I wonder why. I know this was a short segment, but we're going to take another break, get back on track from listening to the... And real quick, Noon the Republican is making a good point. They need to find out if names were leaked to the media that were caught up in accidental recorded conversations, some illegal wiretaps, and if those names were released when they shouldn't have. That needs to be looked at, because the Democrats have no problem that there was some people that might have been exposed, or caught up, I should say, in this whole bullshit, because of these wiretaps went into areas that they shouldn't have been wiretapping. No. Schiff doesn't want to talk about that. He wants to ignore that part. Typical. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media, and we will be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cop for the stupid program.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I'm your host, Jersey Joe. I'm kind of laughing because I'm watching this press conference, and it's, oh my God. No matter what the question is, the two are going back and forth pretty much with the same answers, back and forth, and I don't know. Maybe I expect more out of my politicians. It's oh my God, it's absolutely ridiculous. They keep giving the same answer. No matter what the question is, it's the same thing, back and forth. And they don't want to give an inch. This is not bipartisan. This is, can we get gotchas? And that's it. I don't know. It's the same stuff over and over again. There's nothing new in these comments. Nothing at all. It's, how can, and seriously, they're the same thing over and over and over. Oh, what's that? I think something just popped on one of these damn poison ivies. This is driving me nuts. Oh. Until... I can't remember. I think it was the pool I used to go in to get rid of the poison ivy. So... And it's... They keep going back, well, this is bipartisan, and I think this is what we ought to do, and it's the same answers. Ones, we need to look at, well, was there people caught up in the wiretapping that shouldn't have been wiretapped? Well, Trump says there's Obama ordered wiretapping, and we don't see Obama walking down there and ordering the wiretap. They're literally taking it that Obama walked down and pressed record, which I believe most Americans are going to look at him going, are you idiots? Again, they're trying to make a mountain out of a molehill. It's just, I don't know. It's, how nuts do you have to be a Democrat anymore? Seriously, how nuts do you have to be a Democrat? So the CBO also, there was a lot of information in that CBO. And Democrats picked and chose which information they wanted to release. And one of the things they didn't put out there was that a full repeal of Obamacare would ensure more people. It would lower the cost. And part of it, according to the Congressional Budget Office, the CBO projections, a full repeal of Obamacare would ensure more Americans than Speaker Ryan's. Which, okay. I'm not a big... I'm not a huge Paul Ryan fan, to say the least. I couldn't give a rat's patootie about Paul Ryan. So it's his plan. I will look at honestly. I went into Obamacare with an open mind, and I'll do that with all plans. It's trying to think how to. You need to be open-minded about this to get an honest look. If you go in with a prejudice look, you're going to find what you're looking for. It's you have to. Well, you don't have to. You need to look at this with an open mind. There isn't a lot of proof of what's going on. And what I mean by that, you won't know until it happens. You can have all this. The CBO said Obamacare was going to be so great. So it's kind of, I don't exactly trust the CBO. The CBO can be very political. Then again, what isn't political nowadays? It's I don't know. We're going down a path that's not a good thing. Oh my God, this damn poison ivy! Ah, and I can't stop itching it. Someone beat me over the head. Oh, I can't wait. I'm seriously gonna just like pure salt. And I think I'm gonna put a little bleach in there. Can you mix salt and bleach together? I think you can. Hopefully. And I don't know. It is. Everybody has their opinion on all this, and I just when you go looking for facts anymore, it's gonna be. When you go looking for facts, you find what you're looking for, if that makes sense. There is no independence anymore. It is. When you go looking, you're going to find what you're looking for. When you go in with a preconceived notion, that is what you're going to find. And too many times we go looking at stuff, and we got the answer already solved, so we need to fill in the facts. Too many times we're doing that. It's I don't know. It's I want to see real information, but I know I won't see that. I want to see the real figures, but I'll never see that because everybody anymore, especially when it has anything to do with the government, there is a spin on it. Whether it's a right spin or a left spin, it doesn't matter. There's always a spin on it. We can't get facts anymore in this day and age. And I don't know about you, I'm kind of sick of that. I want to see the true information. But we'll never get to see that anymore. And that day and age is all done. We have to do something, and I don't think, I'm starting to wonder if the Republicans can agree on a replacement. I don't think they can, honestly. I don't think they can agree really on anything. I don't think they can agree on who's on first. They would sit there and argue about that. It's this endless hamster wheel that we're on. You know, it's... We're not getting anywhere good. No, we're not. Somehow we got to take control of this government. Trump was one step, and I said it during the primary. That was one step in the matter. And we have to continue to the next step. But it seems a lot of people just, okay, we're done. No, we're not. We got a lot more work to do, people. And there's a lot of congressmen on both sides of the aisles that need replacements. I should say just replaced. Because they are not doing anything that would help us. I don't know. What I do know is you're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media, and we will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cop for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. I just saw a little something on Fox. They went, 2005, Trump paid 25% taxes. 25%. Bernie Sanders only paid like 13%. The socialist is out there screaming that you have to pay your fair share, pays 13% compared to Trump's 25%. He paid more than Obama paid. But, you know, it's, hey, socialists talk shit all the time about how great it is for everybody to pay up, but they are never the ones who pay up. They never pay their fair share. That has me sitting here snickering. Because Trump's paying more than his fair share. And even though I said, I bet you that someone leaked that, Trump's administration leaked that document, it still doesn't make it legal for them to go ahead and leak it. That was pretty dumb of them. I don't understand that. They know it's not exactly legal to do. And what do? They go and leak it. They know they can get in huge trouble for it. What do? They leak it. Not a bunch of bright people. I never understood that. People. But nothing but they'll do anything for a good story, I guess. Even though it backfired on them. Still laughing about that. Oh, what a bunch of idiots. Screaming and acting like, well, not screaming, but they're acting like. What the heck? Hold on one second.